welcome to SIAL TV. I'm your host, Marc-Antoine, and today we'll be talking about the shifting boundaries of the world gastronomy. And with me today, I have Anne-Claire Paré. You're the founder of Bento, an agency specializing in trends and concepts for restaurants. I also have Hakima Mohd Yussof. You're the director of Jakim's Halal Hub division. It's a government agency. And Mr. Hazli Mohammed Hussein, welcome. You're the CEO of DagangHalal Group. Welcome to you all. And let's start with you, Anne-Claire. I've got a first question about the global trends in the world gastronomy today. Can you tell us a bit about this?
To be quite quick, because it could last for ages,
Yes.
the very interesting phenomenon at the moment is that there are converging and diverging trends in the gastronomy today.
Okay.
There are trends that are putting all the aspects and all the food everywhere on the planet like the same, unified. And at the same time, you've got other factors who make that a meal in Paris will always stay special and be different from a meal in New York or in Shanghai.
Okay.
So on the converging side, you've got first of all the need for storytelling. Everybody's been talking about storytelling for ages, and it's there in the food industry. And the storytelling means that today you don't serve a dish, you serve a story to your customer. And the dish you prepare, you serve, has to relate to the plate, the way it's being presented on the plate, but also to the chef, to the one that created the recipe, the decor, the atmosphere, even the price. The problem is that, in fact, at the moment there aren't that many convincing stories around. You've got the French-rooted chef, you've got the Asian-American one, you've got the lifestyle chef, you've got the one who's going to forage in the countryside. So if the chef don't take care, they will finally end like telling all the same stories. That's one of the most important converging factors at the moment.
Okay. And regarding Malaysia, for example, to start with this country, how is the world gastronomy there impacted by the development of a halal food? Hakima.
I think we are aware on these issues, and the world gastronomy is really give an impact to halal.
Okay.
However, for the government initiative, because we take this as a active participation in halal, the standard is there, the certification is there, so the mechanism is already there. So the industry just have to follow all the requirements, all the guidelines for halal, and of course any changes in gastronomy will have to follow this requirement. So I think the government initiative have to include all these changes of trend in the world.
Of course. Hazli.
If I may, may add, in terms of the trends in Malaysia itself, if you look at the trends on gastronomy towards Malaysia, precisely as what Claire mentioned, in terms of the storytelling, yeah?
Yes.
It's no longer about basically just the food itself, but the storytelling in terms of where does it come from? You know, take for example Nando's. Nando's is here today, yeah? They will tell you in terms of where it started off, from South Africa, for example. You know, why is it, what type of chicken that they use, you know, whether it's peri-peri chicken, you know. It goes all the way to the story of why is it healthy at the end of the day. So on top of that, the trends, not just by storytelling, but now the trend is also towards the halal industry, where is the gastronomy is moving towards right now.
And what are the trends, Anne-Claire?
Another important factor which is making the gastronomy converge is that chefs are becoming brands. Chefs are not just chefs anymore, they are becoming brands that are flashed in all the high streets on the high cities of the planet. For example, a star like David Chang from the Momofuku Empire began in New York, but it has since expanded to Toronto and Sydney. You all know about Atelier Joël Robuchon, which is paving all the hype streets for the affluent people around the planet, and the same could be said about Alain Ducasse, Daniel Boulud, or Jean-Georges von Gerichten. The thing is that at the moment, this phenomenon is gaining even more strength, because what we see developing is a pop-up chef restaurant. For For example, René Redzepi from the Noma made a pop-up at the Claridge Hotel last summer in London. And the buzz of the moment is that Eston Blumenthal, which is one of the most acclaimed chefs around the planet, that you may know, obviously, being British.
Yes.
Champion of British food. And is organizing a pop-up of the Fat Duck in Melbourne. The pop-up will begin on the 15th of February until mid-August. And there are 16 dinners available at a label of $500 each without the beverage, so it's not really a gift. But the reservation site was set up 2 weeks ago, and it crashed 20 minutes after its launch because too many people wanted to have it, even if it was like expensive and everything. So this way of for celebrity chef of having more influence and being present all over the world with pop-up incarnation, I think is going to be a big trend as well.
And regarding the to-go food. Maybe we can start with you, Hakima. How's the to-go food, the fast food industry in Malaysia?
Yeah, in Malaysia, you can see the growth of the fast food, to-go food, very increasing. And as for now, when we do a certification, you can see about 35% of increment per year of this kind of industries. And of course, our requirement or our concerns are again to the raw material of the food itself. But it's not just that. In halal certification, we always look into the whole supply chain. So what we do is we will look at the whole chain of the production, start from the beginning, from the farm till the outlets itself. So in Malaysia, we have the scheme of halal certification not just for the food industries, but also for the eating premises, including the fast food premises. You can see there are lots of increment in this kind of industries like KFC, McDonald's and all that.
Yes.
They are all halal certified in Malaysia.
Okay. So major brands. And how is it developing here in France? What do you think of the to-go food industry here in France?
Yeah, again, I think it will related to the halal certification facilities itself. Here in France, I can see that the halal certification is done by the private company or the NGOs and that. So there will need a lot of communication between the certification agencies and as well as the industries, and of course the demand of the consumer also is very important here.
Hazli?
Yeah, let me add to that. Basically, if you talk about the fast food chain, yeah,
yes,
we always know about McDonald's, you know, KFCs, Nando's, and these are all actually international brands.
Global brands, yeah.
Global brands.
Absolutely.
The only difference from here or any part of the world as compared to Malaysia itself is just the certification part, yeah, whereby all the McDonald's in Malaysia is actually certified halal. Okay. Everything, every single food of it. Okay, that's the difference. So there's a change in terms of gastronomy with regards to the local taste buds. Because you can see local food now is being turned into a franchise. Companies like Papa Rich, for that matter, you know, have already marketed this in Australia. You can see some of the parts of the world, it's already like, it's booming. Yeah? So with regards to food chain, of course, it's actually very much increasing with regards to the local taste. It's keep on changing now.
Okay.
Yeah?
And regarding France and, for example, SIAL Paris, about the halal development here in this country. Yeah, can you tell us maybe a few numbers or?
That's right, that's right. Let's look at some of the statistics today. You know, SIAL Paris, in itself, there are about 755 halal exhibitors. Halal exhibitors. That's amounting to more than 10%. More than 10% of the total exhibitors today. So what does that mean? You know, at the end of the day, you can see that it's becoming, you know, as the demand grows, you know, and the increasing population of Muslim population grows, there will be a considerable effort to make sure that the food in this region is halal. But then again, there's a lot of work to be done. You know, for example, 39% of the halal exhibitors here comes from this region. You know, 39%, okay. And 5% is from France.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the statistics today.
Thank you very much. Regarding to-go trends, do you have a few?
One of the most funny thing at the moment is that seeing the to-go formats appearing on gastronomy tables, okay. Which is really fun because it was totally unthinkable like a few years ago, and now it's really interesting to see burgers, and now it's hot dog because the new craze is hot dog appearing on this table, which were very opposed to that before. And for example, we've got two new tables in Paris. One is Lazare. At Gare Saint-Lazare, and they offer a jambon beurre sandwich, which is like you can have it at the counter. And Lazare is signed by Eric Fréchon, which is a 3-star chef. And we've got the same thing at Terroir Parisien, Yannick Aleno.
Fréchon is the Épicure restaurant at the Bristol Hotel in Paris.
That's it. He has also Mini Palais and the and Lazare as well. And Yannick Aleno, who has 2 Terroir Parisien. As when he launched his restaurants, he proposed a hot dog, which is very special because it has a gribiche sauce, which is not the usual sauce of a hot dog. But it was really a way for them to have a more familiar, more close image. And it's really funny the way that these to-go formats are being brought in gastronomy settings to bring informality, and which is one of the main trends at the moment. Informality is very strong in gastronomy because you've got a new generation of young chefs who are looking for more spontaneous offer and more personal as well, and they're trying to reinvent the equation of the gastronomy.
So it's sort of a down to earth and close to the customers.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of countries or how can I say that, countries influencing the to-go food or the trends at the moment. Hot dogs, they usually come from America, from the United States.
Yeah.
What other countries or what are the tendencies?
Obviously, when you're looking at trends in gastronomy, you definitely look at the United States because they've got gigantic networks there which are continuously inventing new products, new way of communicating and everything. And so it's really an inspiration because they don't stop like working on the new offers. But now one of the most important destinations is the North and it's Scandinavia. Because of Noma, obviously, because of René Redzepi, but around Noma, which is really funny today, because in Copenhagen you see a lot of pupils from Noma who are opening restaurants, which are very interesting. I was in Copenhagen last week, and I tried 2 new restaurants, which were really impressive in the approach they have, like putting together new dishes, new way of serving them, with a very aesthetic, but also down-to-earth approach, and I really... everybody which is interested in food trends should really go to Scandinavia and especially to Copenhagen. Okay. They are trying to put it as a foodie destination, and I think they are quite succeeded already.
And in Malaysia, yes,
I just want to add to that. In Malaysia, we see actually the same trend. Yeah. See, what happened is that you're talking about hot dogs, and burgers and so on and so forth. In Malaysia, we have what we call it roti canai. Roti canai is like a pancake, Malaysian pancake, right? Before this, basically, this roti canai, you can't even have it in the airlines for that matter, because how do you pack this? It's difficult, Those are the innovations now that made it possible that you can have it in the airplane, for example. Yeah. So we have our own, Brahim. Catering, airlines catering, which focuses towards this. Air France, for that matter, is actually getting the halal food from them. Yeah. China Airlines, Air Mauritius, just to name a few. These are the things that the innovation part of it, where we are playing a part. I'm proud to say that it's actually a Malaysian company is spearheading in terms of the halal food industry in the airlines industry itself. Yeah.
And this evolution from the street food to the restaurants, it's to get closer to the customers, but is it also connected to, there's a big trend of burgers in France, for example. Is this connected to any sort of decomplexed food? Are we going towards a more simple offer
Yeah, definitely. It's what I said before about informality, which is very present. The burger trend is obviously there, but people are beginning to think that it has reached its peak. And now it's more like, for example, in the UK, the burgers are getting down, and the category which is getting up is hot dogs, which are developing. It's like plus 80% on the food menus, and it generates even more cash now. But out of this to-go format, I think which is very important is that like it's down-to-earth approach, ecological, because it's really what Scandinavia has brought to the cuisine. It's an eco-cuisine. Because really, René Redzepi, for example, he tries to present the dishes the way they look in nature. And it's really like putting together all the old ingredients which were forgotten, the way of cooking they had in the previous centuries, like, because it's trying to get back to the original equation of food, which is the most responsible, ecological, and everything. And that's really one of the main trends of the moment. It's not that important, but it's getting strength and even more. And for example, if you go in Brooklyn, which is one of the hypest neighborhood of the moment, they really are into this ecological approach of growing food on site, preparing it on site, and preparing in a very personal way to their customer. And it's really showing very interesting and I think profound trends.
And does this local and personalized food has an impact on its price?
Generally, obviously, because now it's more like the hypest neighborhood.
Okay.
But it's getting, because you see in all the hypermarket chain in France, now they promote local producers and everything. So it's really a way of talking which reach the customer, and it has its impact. So I think it's really, yeah, it's really the thing to do.
Do you have a parallel of this trend in Malaysia?
Yeah.
This local, sustainable farming and homegrown?
Cave grown sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think this kind of business is coming the same thing in Malaysia too. As a certification body, of course, we prepare the facilities on how this kind of food can get halal certification,
okay.
Based on our guidelines, based on the procedures, so that they can produce the halal food as well as other productions. I think this kind of food become a new trend of in Malaysia, especially when the youngsters right now, they more and more like the simple food for lunch and take away food, kind of that. So we provide the facilities based on the requirement for halal, so that the companies can follow strictly.
Super.
Well, as far as restaurants, food chains is concerned, yeah, it's actually a new trend. Yeah, kids nowadays loves sausages, loves hot dogs, basically, as opposed to burgers. Yeah. With regards to Malaysian perspective, yeah, you look at, we have come a long way from just hawker food stalls, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, you go into the restaurants as well as the chain restaurants, and if you look at this, basically, what it has done is actually it brings the country in the world's perspective. You know, you are able to have, let's say for example, our street, Alo Street is actually a food street. Yeah, it's actually known worldwide. Yeah, you go to a TripAdvisor, yeah, TripAdvisor online, you can see that it's actually being promoted as one of the venues that you should go and taste this. Yeah. With regards to even publication, like Planets, for example, that's a magazine where you can actually go and look for places to eat. One of the places that we have quoted is actually Gurney Drive in Penang. Yeah. So with regards to the food industry as a whole, I'm talking about halal. Yeah. it has come a long way. From a mere hawker center, yeah, to restaurant, the chains restaurant, basically these are all being done halal.
Okay.
That's where Jakim is here today, whereby we ensure that all these food are certified halal, and not just in Malaysia, but it's actually going out of Malaysia in the world. Yeah, today we have more than 200 over certification bodies worldwide. Yeah, here today. Oh, yeah, here. Hello. Yeah. Here today, for example, you can see there are about 755 halal exhibitors here in SIAL Paris itself. That in itself, you can see that the trend is moving towards halal.
Okay.
Yeah, the gastronomy of it. Yeah.
Cool.
That's all.
Thank you very much for being with us today, and I'll see you next for another SIAL TV.